Peter Parker isn't human anymore. Not metaphorically. Biologically. His DNA stops behaving like DNA. His eyes go solid black. And somewhere under all that, there's a scarier question than what's happening to his body. It's whether Peter Parker is still in there at all. Fans predicted almost every piece of this transformation. They completely misunderstood what it turns him into. Stick around, because we're closing that gap for good. Theory by theory, right up to the ending itself. 4 years ago, Doctor Strange wiped Peter Parker from the world's memory. MJ, Ned. Every stranger who used to know his face, gone. So, Brand New Day picks up with a Spider-Man nobody thanks and nobody remembers. A full-time hero with zero backup, no Stark tech, and no one waiting up for him at home. And according to the trailer, that isolation isn't just wearing him down emotionally. It's starting to change him physically. Here's a detail worth knowing. Marvel didn't invent this title out of nowhere. Back in 2007, a Spider-Man storyline called One More Day ended with Peter's identity and history quietly reset. Not the exact same spell, but an eerily similar wipe. Its direct sequel was literally called Brand New Day. This movie isn't just borrowing a phrase, it's borrowing a wound. And that history is exactly why fans went into this trailer already paranoid. Theory 1. The body is turning on him. March's first trailer showed something wrong with Peter's wrists. Webbing with no shooter attached. Bruce Banner turns up and warns him his DNA is mutating. A second voice adds something stranger. Spiders go through life cycles, and crossing from one to the next can leave them vulnerable, even dangerous. For the ones that make it through, he calls it a kind of rebirth. That's trailer dialogue, not confirmed science. Marvel never actually explains why this is happening now, after 4 years of stability. The working theory? Grief and isolation finally woke something up that was always dormant in his blood. The trailer all but hands you the webbing. What it doesn't tell you yet is whether this is an upgrade or the first symptom of something Peter can't come back from. And that's the real tension underneath Theory 1. It's not really about web fluid. It's about a guy who spent 4 years with zero control over his own life, suddenly losing control of his own body too. Theory 2. Man-Spider. In the comics, there's a version of Peter who doesn't just get spider powers. He becomes a spider. Fully. Multiple arms. A monstrous face. No more Peter Parker underneath. It first showed up in the early 1980s, in the pages of Marvel fanfare, and most fans know the look from the 90s animated series. The second that black-eyed close-up hit, the comparisons wrote themselves. A cocoon, a mutation, a warning from the one Avenger who understands losing control of his own body better than anyone else in this franchise. In the comics, once Peter goes full man-spider, there's barely a person left in there. Just instinct, hunger, and a body that used to be his. That's a much darker place than cool new powers. So, does Peter become the monster in this movie? Does he lose the mind along with the body? Theory 3. A devil's bargain. Back in 2007, a demon named Mephisto struck a deal with Peter. Save Aunt May's life, erase his marriage, and the world's memory of his identity. Peter said yes. That's where this movie's title actually comes from. No hard evidence says Mephisto shows up here. The next theory explains what's hunting Peter right now. Theory 4. The villain no one can see. Sony's synopsis promised one specific thing. A villain, quote, no one can even see. Not disguised, invisible. The theory with actual weight came from casting. Sadie Sink joined this movie under total secrecy, and almost every insider pointed to the same name, Jean Grey. A telepath, someone who could slip inside a stranger's head, or Bruce Banner's, without ever showing her own face. And if that casting theory's right, Peter's mutation might be the only reason he can sense her coming at all. The one power upgrade in this whole story that isn't a coincidence. Reviews and preview screening reports identify the film's antagonist as Jean Grey. The casting theory was right, and according to those reports, Peter's mutation really is what lets him sense her when nobody else can. She spends most of the film jumping between strangers, hunting something hidden inside a government facility called the Department of Damage Control. The same agency that cleans up superhero messes, now apparently hiding one of its own. At one point, reportedly, Jean slips into MJ's body, long enough to make Peter believe, for one horrible moment, that the girl he loves finally remembers him, that she came back on her own. She doesn't. It was never her. Sit with that for a second, because reviewers describe it as the film's quietest gut punch. Peter doesn't just lose MJ once, back in No Way Home. According to this reporting, he loses her a second time, in real time, believing he's got her back right before the floor drops out again. So, what about Peter's mutation? Reports say he spends most of the film suppressing it with an inhibitor chip, until damage control's weapons, built specifically to destroy his old synthetic webbing, leave him with nothing to fight with except the organic web underneath. In the final fight, Jean asks him, is he Peter Parker or is he Spider-Man? His answer, I'm both. 2 words, and they undo 4 years of a movie franchise treating Peter Parker and Spider-Man like 2 separate people fighting for the same body. He tears off the inhibitor. He doesn't become the monster. He doesn't disappear into it either. He becomes the combination. The thing every theory circled without ever naming it. So, here's the actual scoreboard. Organic webbing, confirmed. The DNA mutation, confirmed. Jean Grey, confirmed. Mephisto actually showing up, false. Full Man Spider, the total transformation, is also false, though it got the tone exactly right. That's 3 predictions confirmed. Fans predicted almost every symptom, they just misunderstood the outcome. Peter wasn't counting down to a monster. He was counting down to finally accepting both halves of himself. The half the world sees, and the half it forgot. Now, here's the part that'll actually stick with you. By the film's end, Peter still hasn't gotten his old life back. MJ still doesn't remember loving him. She's shown holding onto a necklace she supposedly has no memory of ever receiving. Make of that what you will. But then he runs into Ned, a stranger to him technically. They shake hands out of habit anyway, and according to accounts of the finished film, that handshake turns into their old, secret one, the one from before the spell. Ned looks up. Peter? The world forgot him. So did MJ. Some part of Ned didn't. If you want more of these, theories tested against the real thing, no filler, that's this channel, every week.